check 1212. Copy here. Got you loud and clear. Green, on fire.
The Performance Motorsports Network presents Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby.
I know what the tradition is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby!
Now, from the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here is your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning rubber, baby. It's that time. Burning Rubber Radio's back on. And we're going to talk an hour of racing on the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. I'm your host, Andy DeLay, along beside Wayne Owens, and we've got a pretty empty studio, just us two in here this week. And, of course, we got the NASCAR chef, John Dix. He will be with us this week to give us the recipe and everything. And one of the big things, Wayne, we got a heck of a cool guest, someone that everyone's heard about but hasn't heard about in a long time, except for this past weekend at Road America. Stanton Barrett, he's going to be on the show with us tonight, whenever you're listening. And before I get going too much, we want to talk about Monster 3X concept lures. Monster 3X is what our very own Captain Jeff Vickers for Florida Outdoors uses to catch all those big fish that he catches, buddy.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Again, after being down there in Tampa and getting my hands on some Monster 3X and utilizing it a couple weeks ago, man, I am hooked on Monster 3X. Actually,
yeah. Oh, that's it. You're hooked, right?
Well, and you know what's actually kind of funny, because you know how we were questioning the possibility of it working in freshwater. In my real life line of work as an Uber driver, I was talking to a guy that was actually out in Utah doing some fishing, and he used Monster 3X in freshwater and got catches.
Yeah, I believe that 100%. Monster 3X USA.com. Go get yourself some. And if you don't know where, you can find out where right on the site, or you can order it. Also, want to give a shout out to Heights Meat Market in Clearwater, Florida. They're listening to Burning Rubber Radio, said they're big fans out there. And so we want to give them a big thumbs up. If you want something, I shouldn't say something to eat, but if you want a big old steak, and I mean any type, Wagyu, they've got Angus, they got kangaroo out there. They got everything. Go out to Heights Meat Market, buddy.
Wait, kangaroo?
Buddy, they've got kangaroo, ostrich, elk.
Good night, Gracie. I wonder if they got some deer out there.
They do. They have venison out there.
Okay, Heights, call me. I need some deer.
Oh, my Lord. So we got all that going. And anyway, I'm looking forward to the NASCAR chef's his recipe this evening. Maybe we'll get him to go out there to Heights Meat Market and get him some.
I was going to say, considering what the chef's cooking this week, he's going to need to make a trip to Heights, actually.
But there you go, buddy.
But with that all said here, folks, we have got to step aside and take our first foreign fuel of the show here. And when we come back here, Andy, you know what? We got to talk about our boy Chris Buescher getting that win this past weekend, buddy.
Woo!
Some really good stuff. We're going to be talking all about it when we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'm Andy DeLay, and you're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens and Andy DeLay hanging out with you this week on the show. And Andy, as we mentioned before the break here, brother, we have got to talk some news of the week. And news indeed it is. And Chris Buescher getting himself a win this past weekend and a grandfather clock at Richmond.
I don't think they do the grand.
Or no, never mind. That's Martinsville.
Martinsville.
Well,
anyway, you got a big trophy, buddy.
Yeah, he definitely got a big trophy. That is for darn sure. And it was a late race restart too. Even old Bucky K himself was like, "Man, I screwed up on pit stops, but my boy got it done."
That's it. Chris Buescher, that's someone we've been friends with. You and I know Chris very well since, gosh, back when he was running ARCA stuff back 10, 12 years ago. And it's just good to see Chris Buescher win. One of the nicest guys you can meet.
Very much so.
You know, that's good also to see Rouse Fenway back in the big W circle.
Yeah, long overdue actually too. But because I mean, not for nothing. I mean, you know, Brad, he's a good racer, but I don't know. The Buescher is where they really should be focusing all their attention anyway, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Chris, he deserves it, man. Good job on you, buddy. Good job.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. When I seen the story this morning at 4:30, right as I got home from work, I was like, "Yeah, Chris, yeah."
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna. Is he down there at GoPro all the time, isn't he? Or what's that called now? That
Trackhouse Motorplex.
Yeah, you've seen him down there a few times. Give him a big old pat on the back, buddy.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, I need to find out when the Off Axis 500 is this year. I think he might be down there this year.
I'm sure you will. So, but there was a lot more going on other than just Cup Series stuff, Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and there is huge SRX news.
Oh, really? I haven't heard yet, but we'll touch on that in just a second here. Speaking of the Xfinity Series, though, Andy, we got to talk about this past weekend, Road America, and Mayer, he got the win, but it was a bit of a steal, don't you think?
I don't know. I really thought that Sage Karam was going to win the thing there. I was watching the last few laps there at the end, and Sage Karam, Allgaier, who was strong all day long. I can't believe that he didn't win the race, honestly. He was so much faster. And then, of course, our pick of the race, Allgaier, excuse me, AJ Allmendinger, good Lord, I got to wake up. AJ Allmendinger, he went out there and ran up front with a car that, even though he had a blazing qualifying lap, it just wasn't there for the race.
Not just a blazing qualifying lap, Andy. He set a brand new track record at Road America.
That's awesome. You know, and the kid, he's 40 some years old, but anyway, he knows how to turn left, turn right. And, I got on the horn with my cousin and part of the show, Jeremy Taylor.
Who was spotting this week too.
He was spotting for AJ out there. And I asked him about Chandler Smith. I don't know if you saw that wreck. Chandler Smith coming down the front stretch there, the fastest part of the track. They're doing about 180 miles an hour. Goes to hit the brakes to brake for turn one, and all you see is parts of his brake rotors flying out from under the car.
Oh, geez.
No brakes whatsoever. And he had two choices: hit the wall head on, which I guarantee you would have killed him at that speed, or he veered off the track at a pretty severe angle and impacted the safety barrier to his left and tore off the entire left side of the car, but he got it stopped before he hit the wall.
I'm going to have to go check that out. No, I did not get a chance to see that. But good on him for taking the action needed to stay as safe as possible.
What's also good, Wayne, is the fact that we got Jeremy right there, so I got on the horn after the race. And I'm like, is Chandler okay? I saw him walking around on video and stuff, but still taking a lick like that from any angle.
That's going to hurt that is going to hurt like a son of a gun. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, Jeremy told me he got with Chandler on the plane and everything on the way back, and he's okay. Yay! Thank God.
Good stuff. Good stuff for Chandler Smith. Other Xfinity news that we can touch on here real quick. IndyCar notable Catherine Legg has officially landed an Xfinity ride for the Indy Road Course coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And not only that, Andy, I happen to hear that another IndyCar star is going to be making a run in the NASCAR Cup Series as far as everything is concerned. And rumor has it we may see a battle of him versus SVG.
Yes, Shane Van Gisbergen announced.
Gisbergen. Bergen.
Whatever, man. I can't pronounce all these wild European crazy names, even though he's Australian. But anyway, SVG, he's going to be coming to NASCAR next year. He's his team, Golden 8, I think it is, in the supercars down there. They said they're going to release him if he wants to be released. And Shane said that, yes, he plans on running at least part-time, Cup Series schedule, and most likely a full-time truck or Xfinity Series schedule while he gets used to the ovals.
That's pretty slick. I gotta say, man, I'm looking forward to seeing SVG in NASCAR full-time in 2024 for sure.
You're a chicken. You won't say his full name. You say SVG.
I know how to say his name, though. It's Shane Van Gisbergen.
That's what I said.
No, you said Gisbergen.
Whatever, dude.
Tomato.
Everyone out there knows who the hell I'm talking about.
One last thing we're going to touch on here real quick before we head to our next foreign fuel here, Andy. And that being that TV rights have officially come up for the Xfinity Series, and the new home for the Xfinity Series will be the CW in 2024, all the way up until 2031, or excuse me, 2025 to 2031.
Everyone's going, who's the CW?
So that is formerly WB Network or Warner Brothers Network.
That's right. And I hear that a lot of it's going to go to streaming.
Yep, all of it's going to go to streaming.
That's what I'm hearing, folks. That's the next thing is all of your sports, auto racing, everything is going to be streaming. That's going to be the way to go.
Yeah,
if you want to watch your sports.
Most certainly is. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, we have got to step aside real quick, take another foreign fuel. But when we come back, Andy, you know what time it is, brother.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk to our guest.
Yes, sir. We're going to be talking to Stanton Barrett when we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Hi, this is Larry McReynolds with NASCAR on Fox. You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine as the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the Procure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog. Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, TN Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Andy DeLay and Wayne Owens hanging out with you this week. Andy, though, had to step out of the studio for just a little bit, but you see this guy's picture over here to my right, and that would be our featured guest of the week here, most recently in fame from the NASCAR Xfinity Series, that being one Stanton Barrett. Stanton, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's been forever.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Most definitely, bud. So gotta ask. You know, you come in with Emerling Gase Racing this past weekend at Road America for the Xfinity Series here. How did it feel to get back into an Xfinity car after so long?
It was fun. You know, I'd get back with a lot of the guys I used to race with, and some of the NASCAR staff, and my favorite track, even though they repaved it. I didn't really like the repaving, but you know, we still got to go out and do our best, and that's what we did.
Most definitely. So, you know, that brings up a valid question. You talk about, you know, getting back in with some of the older guys that you remember racing with. What are your thoughts on some of the newer breed of Xfinity drivers that we have, like your Justin Allgaiers and your Sam Mayers and folks like that?
I don't know how new breed Justin is. I used to race with him back a while ago. He's been around for a while, but you know, Sam is a good driver, and there's a lot of new talent in there, and a lot of really aggressive, a little careless guys out there too. So it was a little different watching some of these guys race, or how they treat you on the track. It's quite a bit different than some of the older characters that I grew up racing, who are still racing, a lot of them, and some of them are not. But yeah, it's a different dynamic. I think it'd be nice if NASCAR put some more penalties on these guys for rough driving, and you know, it's gotten a little bit carried away, but that's their choice, and you know, it's kind of funny how that works. But yeah, it was a fun race. It was a trying race, that's for sure. We just didn't have quite the setup to carry the speed, and having mechanical grip was a little high off the track too, and a little too much body roll. So it's real hard to carry speed without losing grip and not having a mechanical grip for braking. So into some wrong choices with shocks and different things. So, you know, these cars are so complicated to set up and get right. And we were just a little bit off, but, you know, focused on staying out of trouble and trying to gain some points. We had that whole oil thing at the end was not good for us. It wasn't good for a lot of people, but we had a tire strategy that would have worked out really well. Yeah, so just the way it goes, but it was fun to get out there and promote my brands with the Stanton Barrett Family Wines and Horseheads Brewing. So if you're going to Watkins Glen, go to Horseheads Brewing and have some of our beer and wine there, and then yeah, that's it.
We'll touch more on the wine and brewery here in just a moment too. And by the way, folks, for those listening, we're talking with Stanton Barrett, Xfinity Series driver, and now something you brought up a minute ago, talking about stiffer penalties for aggressive driving here. Now, you know, knowing that you come from the older generation of racers, you know, your Dale Earnhardts, your Terry Labonis, things like that. Here, you know, back in the day, they had the boys have at it rule, where, you know, drivers could be a little bit more aggressive, but with, you know, obviously they were reined in a little bit more too. So, you know, when you say more penalties for certain types of aggressive driving, where would you per se draw the line at when it comes to penalties, and for you, what would you want to see as a penalty issued for certain types of aggressive driving?
I don't know. I mean, they don't tolerate any other in their sports car, you know, just blatant, like, going in like mad and just making aggressive contact, taking people out. I mean, it's just not allowed. I mean, that's just over your head driving. Right. I don't think it's conducive for learning, or fair to the other guys that are, you know, up front and they're just a target. I think you can still race clean. You know, I raced with Dale and Darrell Waltrip and Ricky Rudd and Rusty, and those guys were aggressive drivers, but, you know, they beat and bang, but it wasn't just blatant, just
they wouldn't go out and punch you.
Where people say, oh, well, he's just driving hard and, you know, charging. Well, driving over your head and charging are two different things, you know. So,
right.
And then you got guys out there that, you know, get taken out and lose the race. It just, you know,
so
it's
more
just the way it is now. It seems like it's all right. And they took each other out before, but, you know, that wasn't here and there, but sometimes they took each other out just hard racing. But there's hard racing contact with some clean driving. Now, I had another guy, you know, he hit me, but he didn't just keep leaning. He hit me twice on the side, but he just didn't keep leaning on me and take me out. And then I got underneath him and did the same, leaned on him. I could have drove him off the track really easily, or bumped him harder. And I'm like, he didn't do that to me, but I'll run him the same way.
Right.
So that's good, clean racing, you know. But you know, I guess
kind of
guys are winning races, so.
Kind of the old door bumper clear rule, you know. Okay, you can beat and bang on doors and quarter panels, but just don't go, pretty much for lack of a better term, just don't go punting somebody into a wall or anything like that.
Well, it's just really, they just drive in hard and just punt you, and then you're out, you know. And I don't think that should be acceptable, but you know.
Right. No, I'm right there with you on it. And go ahead.
Yeah, that's what that's at.
And but moving on over here, yeah, you mentioned Stanton Barrett Winery and or Stanton Barrett Wines rather, and Horseheads Brewing. Now, you know, funny story. I've got a family from right up there in the Horseheads area, and I was actually just up at Watkins Glen last year, and I did not see Horseheads Brewing near the track. So do tell, where folks can get a hold of, or where in Watkins Glen folks can go to see Horseheads Brewing.
Well, you can go to the brewery in Horseheads. It's about 25 minutes kind of south. It's a nice spot, so you can try all different stuff under tap there and get a little tour sometimes. And then we have a facility right on the lake there behind the harbor. And I think it is that right there on the Seneca Lake, a dock. You can sit out there and look at the water and the boats, and or sit inside and sample a bunch of different brews that we have. So it's a pretty nice location.
Okay. Now here's a question. Do you guys focus specifically on like IPAs with different flavors, or do you go more for stouts, lagers, pilsners? What do you guys go for?
We have a variety of everything, being a craft beer company. So, Golden Ales, we have the seasonals with blueberry, peach. We're launching the pumpkin, which is super popular. It was rated #1 pumpkin in the U.S. We make, real fruit purees and spices for the pumpkin. We get whole and grind them there. It's pretty exceptional. So, we have stouts, chocolate porters, just depends on the season,
Right.
Some different IPAs, tropical IPAs, doubles, and New England IPA. So, it switches up. Most craft beer places switch up right now. We seasonals, peach. So, just kind of goes off season a little bit. And then you have your regulars that are real popular with your Golden Ales. Or blonde ales and a couple different IPAs, and it's fun. It's fun to have the variety and taste them and keep trying to make good beer.
It sounds like the next time I make a trip up to New York to see family, I'm gonna have to make that trip down to Horseheads, and we're gonna because now granted I'm not much of a beer guy, but you've kind of sold me here. I think I'm gonna come down and try it.
Yeah, it's fun just to try the different flavors, learn about, how they make them, why, and all that fun stuff. So it's really enjoyable. It's fun to talk to different, customers and get their input and preferences, and everybody has a little different taste for different things.
Most definitely. So now with the brewery, do you also incorporate your wine brand there as well, or do you have that all separated?
No, we serve, a lot of different wines in the state, and then some of my wines. So it's, not everybody, it's a restaurant location there on the lake. We have a full bar, so you can try different New York spirits and wines, and mine at the brewery too. So it's fun because not everybody drinks beer, like I said, and I give people a variety of options.
Well, there you go. And for those who want to keep up with everything you got going here with the wine side of things, as well as Horseheads Brewing and your motorsports career, because I would dare say safe bet you're not done with racing anytime soon. This was just one little foray back in the Xfinity Series after a little time away. Where can folks follow you, keep up with everything, all the social medias, websites, stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't do too much on the web. I don't even know if my website's there's nothing really updated, but social media for sure, just at Stanton Barrett, both on Facebook and Instagram. We've got Twitter too, but I don't update that very much. So mostly Instagram and Facebook are the go-to places when I do post some things.
Yeah, sadly,
post cooking stuff and a little bit of racing and traveling.
Yeah, sadly, Twitter actually went through a rebrand here recently. It's no longer Twitter. It's now called X, ironically. So I don't know what Elon Musk was thinking about that, but time will tell, I guess. But with that all said here, Stanton, it's we're getting to about towards the end of the segment here with you today. However, I would be remiss if we did not get the tradition from you. We got it from you the last time we had you on, well over 10 years ago. And you remember the Herminator, Kenny Wallace. He started all this for us back in 2008, grabbed the mic out of Andy's hand and shouted, "Burning rubber, baby," at the top of his lungs. The cool part is when your next race out on the track, either 2/10 on the racetrack, or here of late, we've been able to get people guaranteed race wins off that shout.
Nice. I better do that more often, right?
Yeah, right. Whenever you're ready, buddy.
I'm burning rubber, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is one Stanton Barrett, and do make sure you go follow him on social media at Stanton Barrett on Facebook and Instagram, and keep up with everything he's got going on with the winery as well as Horseheads Brewing. And with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take our next foreign fuel, but when we come back, we're going to be sitting down with NASCAR chef John Dix.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This is race car driver Kenny Wallace, driver of the number 36 Jegs Dirt Modified. And you're burning rubber, baby, on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the ProCure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog, Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
This is Burning Rubber Radio. Now let's get cooking in the kitchen with the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay, and Andy, I tell you what, talk with Stanton, fun as always with him. However, the grill is fired up, brother, and I see you peeking at John's recipe over there for the week, man.
Heck yeah, I'm hungry, man.
You're always hungry. NASCAR chef John Dix, what is good today, brother?
Hey guys, burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
And so do tell John this week. You got something that requires no peeking at the recipe.
That's right. That's right, Wayne. We're having a fun little no-peek recipe. This is some good comfort food. And for people who are busy and don't have time to stand by the grill, They can put this together. And we're going to get started with 2 pounds of stew meat, 1 10.5-ounce can of cream of mushroom soup, Now, if you're not a fan of cream of mushroom, you can use like cream of chicken or one of the other ones.
Well, that or allergic to.
Pardon?
That or allergic to, actually.
Yeah, well, you might be allergic to it. But I'm allergic to food. I swell up right here in the midsection. But anyways, we're going to do 1 2-ounce packet of brown gravy mix, 1 2-ounce packet of onion soup mix, and a cup of water. That's all the ingredients you need. Now, you want to preheat your oven to about 300 degrees. In a 9x13 casserole dish, you want to mix all the ingredients together, the meat, the soup, the gravy mix, the soup mix it all together real good. Make sure you put the water in there. You're going to cover it real tight with tin foil. Now, guys, you're going to cook it for 3 hours at 300 degrees. And again, no peeking, okay?
Andy.
After 3 hours, remove it from the oven, take the tin foil off, and, guys, it's good. You can serve it over rice. You can serve it over mashed potatoes, which is my favorite. And you can also add other stuff to it. You can add maybe a can of corn or a can of beans or some green beans, whatever you want to it, and just have a lot of fun.
Sounds like a good old time there. And beef tips always something good in the summertime anyway, right, Andy?
Oh yeah, anytime beef tips. Yeah. Anytime John cooks is good time.
That it most certainly is. And again, folks, if you ever want to get a hold of the NASCAR chef or get a hold of this recipe, all you got to do is shoot him an email at racing2thegrill. That's RACING, 2, thegrill @gmail.com. Or you can always send an email to the general mailbox at mail@brr.show. That's mail@brr.show. And, John, we can't let you leave without those 3 famous words, brother.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
All right. With that said here, folks, take one last quick look at the recipe. And, again, no peak beef tips this week from the NASCAR chef, John Dix. With that said here, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a quick 2-tire change of gas and go. And when we come back, we're going to have some final news of the week and get ready for picks coming up for Michigan.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine as the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the Pro-Cure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog, Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, and guess who's here? It's Taylor Burris. And
guess who's back?
Back again.
So I have appeared from the future, for those of you curious.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Andy DeLay actually had to step out of the studio here, folks. I know we said we were going to get to some news of the week, but since Taylor's here, we're going to hold off on news of the week, and we are going to go straight over to the iRacers Download. T, what you got for us today?
Oh, what a week it is in iRacing. I mean, you've got to first talk about a first-time career winner in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, where Michael Guess and, of course, 23XI Racing get their win at Pocono, punching his way into the playoffs for the 2023 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. With that, here is your lineup for the playoffs. Bobby Zalenski, Michael Conti, Casey Kerwin, Tucker Minter, Jordy Lopez, Steven Wilson, Garrett Lowe, Michael Guess, Jimmy Mullis gets in barely, and then Nick Ottinger, the only driver to get in via points to make his way into the championship playoffs. Of course, it is going to be an exciting battle in 2 weeks' time. The August 15th, we head to Michigan International Speedway, where the Championship 10 will battle for those 4 coveted spots in the season finale later on this year. Other news in the world of iRacing, it was none other than Evan C., who is battling championship rival Blake Majulis, who takes home the inaugural win at the Port Royal Speedway for the World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series this past Monday, and it's going to be a championship battle between these two dirt racing heavyweights. Currently, right now, it is Evan C. 304 points to Blake Majulis' 296 points as they get ready to head off on Monday, August the 7th, from the hallowed grounds of Knoxville Speedway for another exciting race in the world of dirt racing. And then, of course, finally, the eNASCAR College iRacing Series will return later this fall, just in time for all of you college kids and school kids getting ready to go back to school here, as we see $60,000 prize pool up to $30,000 up to compete for the drivers who are competing in this championship, starting on September the 19th with Daytona, ending May 3rd with Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, you have the chance to qualify for these. First and foremost, you have to be a college student. So if you're not in college, sorry, you cannot compete. But qualifying begins on August 3rd, 21st to September 3rd for the first race at Daytona, utilizing, of course, the NASCAR Xfinity cars for this championship race.
Well, that sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun indeed there. And I got to ask there, T, knowing that we know the top 10 now that are going to be heading into the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series playoff picture here, who's your money on to see take home the title this year?
That's a tough one. But you know what? I'm going to have to go with the driver who's on his swan song season. It's going to be the driver for Junior Motorsports, Michael Conti, who is on his swan song, going to be retiring at the end of the championship here in 2023. I think he's the one who's going to be the one to watch.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, based on everything I've seen this season, I'm going to probably say that Zalenski or Ottinger are going to be our champion this year for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series series.
Well, fun fact for Zalenski, he has been in the Final Four for the past several seasons, and the best finish, of course, he finished was second. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's basically one of those ones who's always there at the end, but can't quite close the deal. Can he close it out? We'll find out later on this year.
The old saying, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. But
exactly.
With that all said here, folks, we are going to step aside. We're going to take one final foreign fuel on the show this week. And when we come back, we're going to hit that news of the week that we promised you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This is race car driver Kenny Wallace, driver of the number 36 Jegs Dirt Modified. And you're burning rubber, baby, on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the ProCure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog. Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Wayne Owens, Andy DeLay hanging out with you this week here. And Andy, I'll tell you what, the more I'm thinking about those beef tips that John made, I think it's about time to go get some lunch or dinner here in the next little bit, ain't it?
Anything, anytime, buddy. It doesn't have to be lunch, dinner, breakfast, just food.
Ain't that the truth? But hey, we want to get into some more news of the week here real quick before we round out the week and get ready for picks over at Michigan. And you know what, Andy? We gotta talk about this, man, because this kid's on a tear. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, our boy Carson Hocevar gets another win this weekend at Richmond.
That's right. Third win of the season. Carson also, of course, is going to be in the playoffs. Playoff field set with the final playoff spot taken by Matt Crafton, who beat out Stuart Friesen by a few points. So that was a dogfight there.
I was going to say, he only beat him out by, what was it, like 3 points?
About 3 points. I do believe you're right. 3 points. It was just a few points anyway. There at the end. So and usually you see Matt Crafton up near the top of things.
Yeah,
that's a little odd this year.
I was gonna say it's been a wonky 2023. That is for sure. Moving on now over here to the world of Formula One, and I know Zach's gonna hate hearing this one once again, but Max Verstappen gets himself a clean sweep in the Belgian Grand Prix this past weekend, Andy.
Well, he's been on a tear, man. So Verstappen, I don't think anyone's going to stop him this year.
Well, and this is with this win right here, that makes his 8th consecutive back-to-back win in this Formula One season. So, I mean, honestly, at this point, knowing that they're just barely over halfway through the schedule, I would say if he wins at least 3 more races, he'll have the championship completely locked up.
Oh, it's all done. And I don't see him stopping. Where are they going next?
Let's see. Where are they going on the schedule next here? I'm trying to find a...
There I am, putting you on the spot.
Yeah, right. The F1 season goes on summer break before returning to action in 1 month's time at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Okay.
So that'll be an interesting race. So they'll have a whole month off. So I don't know. Maybe somebody will go goof with Verstappen's car in the process.
I doubt that's going to happen. When are we going to talk about SRX?
You know what? You said you had some big news for it, so hit me with it. What you got?
Paul Tracy was suspended indefinitely.
What?
He pulled a bonehead move and came down on Joseph Newgarden, turned both of them in front of the field. Of course, Tracy's a hothead. And Tony Stewart had said prior to this that he's sick of people tearing up the race cars needlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Tony Stewart owns SRX.
Yep.
If you didn't know that out there. And he said that he's done with it because they have to use these cars every week.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Tracy just tears cars up left and right and other people's cars. So Stewart said he's done with Tracy. He's basically threw him out of there.
Wow.
I don't think you'll see Tracy back in SRX at least anytime soon. Because Schrader, who got caught up in the mess, got out of the car and said, quote, "If Tracy is in the field, I'm not racing anymore."
Well, I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, Tracy has made more enemies with people in the SRX series than his entire, 10-plus years in IndyCar.
Yeah, I guess. He's always been an aggressive driver, but I get where smoke's coming from. You know, these cars, there's a small crew that repairs each of these cars every week.
Yep.
And when there's a lot of carnage, these guys are sweating to make it on time.
Oh, yeah.
To get these cars put together. And I guess this week was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I mean, hey, I don't blame them one bit. I mean, I say they took the proper action at that point. And really, if anything, that sets a precedent that, any other drivers that come into the SRX series, you want to do something, well, it's like the old saying goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Especially with Smoke's toys. You ain't going to play no more.
Oh, man, that's some funny stuff. Actually, speaking of the IndyCar series as well here, Andy, it looks like we are going to see, and I'm trying to find his name here because for whatever reason, it's based, there it is, Linus Lundqvist. Has officially been tapped in a Meyer Shank Racing ride for IndyCar coming up at the Nashville Grand Prix.
All right, that's good stuff.
So
even though I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's a smaller time driver, so he's not very well known in the world of IndyCar yet. And moving on here, Andy, over to the world of Formula E here, and Nick Cassidy led himself all the way around the rain-soaked final race in the Formula E season in London. They've officially claimed the team's world championship for Envision Racing, edging out Mitch Evans and Jaguar TCS, who finished second in the race and in the team's title fight this past weekend in Formula E. So the Electric Series is pretty much all but done now for the year, and so they can go charge up and take a break.
Give those coal-fired power plants a break that are running those electric cars.
Amen to that.
Lord.
And then moving on over now to the world of sprint cars here, and hey, he's back in the news, Andy. Rico Abreu handles a Knoxville All-Star field this past weekend. Got the win this past Saturday night at Knoxville Raceway on Weiler Night, featuring the All-Star Circuit of Champions. And with that, the California native took home $8,000 for his 6th career win at the sprint car capital of the world.
Good for Rico, man. It's about time we seen him back in the headlines.
It really is. It's some good stuff. Some really good stuff all the way around here. And one final bit of news we can touch on real quick before we get over to picks for Michigan this week coming up here. Gage Herrera has officially swept the NHRA Western Swing when it comes to pro stock motorcycles, Andy.
All right. So was that invitational or?
Yep, that was that invitational that they had this past weekend in wine country over in Sonoma.
Well, good for him, man. So I think that's the first time that anyone on two wheels has done that. That's sweet.
No, it's been done at least twice, I think, at this point now, as far as the Western Swing Sweep. I'd have to go back and double check the NHRA record books, but I think it's been done a couple times beforehand.
Okay, I just heard that. You're probably right. So.
But other winners this past weekend here in Sonoma, Justin Ashley gets the win in Top Fuel. J.R. Todd takes the win in Funny Car, which that's a name you don't hear very often in the Funny Car series. Right. And so good on J.R. Todd for getting the win this weekend here. And that was the 12th of 21 races during the 2023 NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series season. So they are well over halfway done with their season now, and the countdown to the championship is soon to be underway for them as well.
Excellent.
So some good stuff there. And with that said here, Andy, we have got to get ourselves over to picks for the week here. And with that, we're going to Michigan this week, the Firekeepers 400 here. And you have pick number 1, my friend.
Chase Elliott, man. He's going to sign his ticket to the playoffs here. And he's going to win.
All right. So you think Chase is going to do it, huh? All right. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna say it's time for another HMS driver to get it done this weekend here. I am gonna go with the showman himself, Alex Bowman, to take home the win this weekend coming up at Michigan. Taylor Burris, ironically, did not get a pick in this week, so he's left with Ty Dillon. Some good stuff all the way around there. Zachary Murtis, however, got himself in a pick this week, and he is saying that Joey Logano, Sliced Bread, is going to do something this weekend coming up at Michigan. And then, of course, the NASCAR chef, John Dix, you guys just heard a little bit ago here. He's going to go with old Rowdy Bush to take home the win this weekend at Michigan. And then Bobby Dale, also, again, no pick from BD. So he gets Ty Dillon as well.
Ty Dillon, man. We're going to be eating crow, like I said, if Ty Dillon lucks out and wins something here.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll never hear the end of it from BD if that's the case. I guarantee you.
From here on, it better be a Rick Ware car.
You're right, exactly. Oh, man. But with that said here, folks, we have got to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Tan Talk Radio Network, Wingding.tv. Thanks to our guest this week, Stanton Barrett from the NASCAR Xfinity Series, for joining us. For Andy DeLay, NASCAR chef John Dix, Taylor Burris, Zachary Murtis, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, Jeremy Taylor, and everybody else who's been involved with the show. We love you guys. Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of the Performance Motorsports Network in association with the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina. This week's episode was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit BurningRubberRadio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio may also be downloaded from our podcast site, PMN2.com, or from Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. The opinions expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect those of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be with the express written permission of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group.